Flying Moose Lodge is a small residential boys' camp located in East Orland, Maine on a spring-fed lake. The camp was founded in 1921 by two Quaker school teachers from Philadelphia who had a vision of combining a wilderness trip program with a traditional base camp experience. Although most of the boys who attend Flying Moose today are not Quakers, Quaker values of individual thought, simplicity, friendship, and self-reflection are still incorporated in our daily life and camp philosophy. The founders came up with a schedule where all the boys and counselors would leave camp on Tuesday morning and return to Flying Moose on Friday afternoon. And 85 years later, we still follow the same weekly timetable. Flying Moose Lodge has been owned and directed by the Price family since 1940. Many of our campers today learn about Flying Moose Lodge through stories told by their relatives or friends and neighbors. Boys come from all over the United States and even from abroad, but the majority tend to come from the eastern seaboard. Our enrollment is limited to 50 campers ranging in age from 10 to 15 years old. Campers may choose a half session of 3.5 weeks or to stay for the entire 7-week season. Our camp is rustic, with buildings dating back to the 1920s and 30s. The oldest building, the Log Cabin Lodge, is the hub of camp activity. Built in the mid-1880s and carefully preserved over the decades, its open construction reveals a birch bark ceiling. It's here, at the hearth of the large stone fireplace, that the boys can gather on a rainy day. The newest building is the timber-framed workshop, referred to as the caboose due to its location at the end of camp. Boys can always be found tinkering in the caboose, building shelves or a chair for their tent, making a leather axe sheath, or just finding the pleasure everyone does in connecting a hammer and nail with a piece of wood. It's also where our canoes are built and repaired. On the hillside, nestled among the pine trees, are the tent platforms and Adirondack shelters, the boys' home away from home. The platforms provide the floor beneath an Army-style tent, where the boys sleep on cots. Each tent or shelter houses 4 or 5 boys of similar age with 1 or 2 counselors. This rustic lifestyle does not include electricity. We use Coleman lanterns, gas refrigeration, and a flashlight or two is a must. We have a small camp store where necessary items like batteries can be purchased. Craig Pond is the perfect setting for our camp. Every day the boys can swim and bathe from our docks, play canoe games on the lake, fish and sail, or use the rowboats. The campsite of Craig Pond is owned by Flying Moose and therefore remains a wilderness setting. Although we are only a mile away from the nearest highway, we're quite secluded and feel set apart from the busy world outside camp. The base camp consists of a structured program that also allows for some free time and room for individual pursuits. On Fridays, when the boys return from their trips, they take a much-needed bath in the lake, read their mail, and swap stories about their trips with the other campers. After a hearty family-style dinner and some time to relax, we have our nightly campfire in the lodge, where we sing traditional camp songs and then hear a story. Saturday night, we preview the much-anticipated camp newspaper. While on trips, the boys write an article describing their activities, and some tall tales are printed. On Monday, in lieu of campfire, we have our skit night, grandly referred to as opera. The lodge porch becomes our stage, Coleman's are the footlights, and the costumes in the lodge come to life in a parade of original skits. Between each skit, the boys have a chance to get their start as stand-up comedians, telling jokes to a live audience and accepting the laughs and good-natured groans in equal measure. On a typical day, the boys do their daily chores, arranged by squads, right after breakfast. Duties include cleaning up their tent, tidying the lodge, or helping the cook by peeling some vegetables. The most popular squad is made up of volunteers who make the hand-cranked Sunday ice cream using the ice we've harvested from Craig Pond on a cold Saturday in February. On weekends, we teach the boys camping skills, including pitching a tent, building a fire and cooking, reading a map and compass, basic first aid, how to camp without disturbing the trails and campsites, and what items to pack for a 4-day camping trip. These hands-on demonstrations also include the essentials of canoeing, from the parts of a canoe and the strokes used to paddle it to loading it with gear, and how to lift and portage a canoe successfully. We also focus on safety and teach the campers how to come to the aid of an overturned canoe, and we set the firm rules for when a life jacket must be worn. Our daily life at camp also centers on our fleet of wood and canvas canoes. In addition to learning to navigate a canoe, we teach campers how to repair and restore canoes. Some summers we also build a canoe, from bending the ribs to painting the canvas. The boys play canoe games on the lake, and while it's always fun, it's also an opportunity to practice and perfect their skills. On Tuesday morning, vans are loaded with gear and campers head off to this week's adventure. Trips are arranged according to age and ability, and with a counselor-camper ratio of about 3 to 1, we're able to keep the group small with rarely more than 3 to 5 campers. Younger boys camp on Craig Pond, Tunk Lake, at Acadia National Park, and other nearby lakes and hiking destinations. Older campers embark on more challenging hikes, the Appalachian Trail, Baxter State Park, and they canoe on Maine's great rivers and protected ocean inlets. Each week the campers go on a different type of trip, and we make sure that by the end of their stay they've experienced a variety of hiking and canoeing trips. Campers go on progressively more challenging trips as they mature and gain skills and experience. While on the trips, campers help plan their itinerary, set up the campsite, build a cooking fire, and prepare meals. A simple but delicious meal tastes especially good after a day of paddling or hiking. The campers cook meals that include spaghetti, chili, tuna casserole, and even desserts using reflector or Dutch ovens. Many boys go home very proud of their newly acquired cooking skills. As boys show proficiency in camping skills, they may, if they choose, keep track of their specific achievements in a booklet we call the Mark of the Moose and Maple. The book is divided into levels and awards, starting with a camp pennant for novice-level campers. The final award, for the most dedicated of boys who strive for distinction, is a wooden canoe paddle with the camp emblem hand-painted on the blade. The Mark of the Moose and Maple is a self-motivated, non-competitive way to keep an official record of Flying Moose achievements. Campers have time to relax on trips and take advantage of swimming, fishing, mountain sunsets, and seeing wildlife. Boys go home with reports of seeing deer and moose, hearing the call of the loon, matching wits with pesky raccoons who try to steal their food, and sightings of soaring bald eagles. The campers who are with us the final weekend of the season for our traditional clam bake can add a Maine lobster to the list of things they've seen. With so many opportunities available to children today, we believe that what we do at Flying Moose is valued more than ever. The fast-paced lifestyle and technology of the 21st century make our program an opportunity to slow down, listen to the sounds of nature, and relax, while still building a whole new set of experiences and accomplishments. We are occasionally asked why we are not a co-ed camp. We think that when boys and girls are in separate environments, they're not distracted by the usual preteen and teenage concerns. At Flying Moose, we have a unique, once-in-a-lifetime experience to have a setting where a boy can accomplish new things independent of his school, family, classmates, and friends. It is an experience, some have called it a rite of passage, that will be completely his own. The goals at first are easy to see, to climb the mountain or paddle a canoe in a straight line. But soon, boys at camp find that in nature and without distraction, they know more about who they are and who they can be.